It's the day before Thanksgiving. Kind of a lazy day here at the shop. Everybody's here actually. We're all running, but um, none of my customers really expect too much from me today. So I got some bid work done, and now I'm going to design a log storage rack. It's fire season here. Let's see, can you guys see this? Hope you guys can see that all right. And the firewood is making a huge mess next to my fireplace, so I figured I would draw up a log storage rack, cut it out on the laser, and make it hopefully this weekend. We'll see if I can get it cut out on the laser. We're in full-on Christmas mode here at the shop, so I'll have to see if I can get the laser time. Alright, let's get this oriented how I want it. Front is front. And I'm going to do kind of a basic design here. Start a new sketch. And I'm going to start this as a line drawing. So we're going to go up. And storage rack probably needs to be not too big. If it's too big, it's going to be heavy. It's called 20 inches tall, I think, overall. And then width-wise here, maybe only 14 inches or so, maybe 16. I definitely want it taller than it is wide. Let's see if we've gone into 3D sketch here. No, we're still on the same plane. I hate when Fusion does this here. It's trying to draw on this plane down here. It's a new feature, and I'm not crazy about it. Let's see if I can... Nope, it still wants to sketch on that plane. So let's go ahead and undo that, and we'll try a new sketch. Now that we're locked on this plane, it should work out a lot better. I will resist the urge to rotate. Alright, so we have our basic shape here. I'm going to create a sheet metal body out of that by selecting these and then drawing this through right here in sheet metal. The average depth of a log, I think, is only 16 inches. So we'll start this out as a 16-inch deep. I think that's looking pretty solid. And then need to change this to the thickness of material I'm going to actually use. So I went up here in sheet metal, modify, hit the little pencil, and then I'm going to make this out of some 3/16, so it's kind of heavy. 0.1875. There we go. Now we got nice beefy material right there. Should look good. Eventually I'm going to fillet these corners, but resist the urge to do that right now. It'll just make some of these later operations a little bit easier if you do that. But that's the basic shape. Then I think I want a little pocket here for kindling. So I'm going to make a offset plane. We're going to bring that, call it a 5-inch space down there for kindling. I think should work. Go here. And we're going to project a couple things onto that plane. I'm going to use these edges right here. And draw a rectangle off of this corner to this corner, but since we made that offset plane, we're going to be right where we want it to be when we extrude this. There's my material thickness. Make sure you select new body. You don't want to join these together yet. because eventually I'm going to export these all as plates individually and send them off to the laser as flat pieces. And then they'll get formed and welded later on. So I think that's a good basic shape. Now I need to kind of play with some feet so this doesn't sit directly on the floor. We could try some, I've got some cool rectangle tube that's 3x1. Kind of see how that's going to look. Use our line tool, find your midpoint there with the delta, the triangle, and then we can use this mirror tool right here. Select everything you want to mirror, your mirror line, boom, right there. Now we've got it equal on both sides. And now I'm going to extrude these. New body, and just kind of see how they look. I don't know if I'm crazy about that. I think we could do better. So we could try to rotate these, see if it looks any better. But I'm not sure that's going to do it. That actually helped. I think because we already have kind of a rectangular shape going here vertically, that if we keep the feet rectangular, it'll carry the look. So I like that. Okay, now I'm gonna make just some openings here to make this a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna select that plane, hit P, project, and then I'm actually gonna hide this first body, and I'm gonna project this right here onto that surface that we're sketching on right now. And then I'll project this onto there. And then I'll draw a rectangle here. I'll show you here in just a second. We're going to use the offset tool to make an even opening on this entire body here. Just going to O for offset, select that feature, that line, and then just got to find a spot that looks cool, because eventually I'm going to extrude all this out and make it empty space. So we'll do -2, and I guess we should really start with the smaller space down here, because that's going to dictate more what we can do. If we go 2-inch, it makes this pretty small, which if this is the kindling, we may not want an opening on the side anyways, to be honest. But let's try 1.5. 1.5 looks pretty good. So go back here, double click that, -1.5, and we can edit how that looks. So from here we can extrude all the way through, E for extrude, draw that through, and bam, we've got ourselves what looks like a pretty solid log storage rack at this point. So if you need to, at any point, you can go back in the timeline right here, double click on this sketch, and let's say we want to see what 1 inch looks like. Double click on this, update that to 1, and then hit, let's see here, yep, enter, complete sketch, finish sketch. There we go. And it updated that extrude move because it was after that sketch, which is one of my favorite features of Fusion, is this timeline. Makes it really nice to go back and edit stuff. But I like the thicker better, so I'm going to hit Control Z here and back up out here to the 1.5. So pretty quickly, you can see we've got a log storage rack here. We could go straight to the laser and press brake with this, but I'm afraid, let's see, we remove that much material, this might get a little floppy here. I'm not sure how rigid this is going to be. So there's a couple ways to fight that. One is put this material back in there, and 2 would be to add another plate back here that runs perpendicular to these. So let's go ahead and see what that's going to look like. So we'll click on this face. I'm going to project all this sketch geometry right here. Make sure all that comes through. And then we should just be able to take a line across the top here, close that shape out, and then we can use our O offset again. No, it doesn't want to do it here, of course. Let's see if we can select this. Nope. Alright, so use our offset tool. We really have to take, let's take this shape, extrude it out, 0.1. We'll do a new body here, and really just doing that to get this whole profile here over. And now we should be able to double click on this, single click, and then hit O for offset. And now we have a defined edge. We can do the same trick we did on the borders there. So I think we used 1.5. So let's just stick with that dimension, keep everything looking cohesive and like it was planned this way. And then from here we can draw some lines straight up to the top. Straight up to the top. And now we can extrude this out. But if we do that, it's going to actually cut this plate right here. So we need to make this plate invisible. Where is it? There we go. Before we do this cut operation. Then we can make it visible again. So there we go. Now, this trim is nice. I think I almost want it on both sides now that I see it here. It just gives it a more finished look. And now that I'm thinking through this, the brake will not be able to bend this all as one piece. So I'm actually going to end up having to put a seam in this design, probably in the middle, or I could hide it, try and hide it, and line it up with one of these feet. But with this now appearance plate we have, I can also do a Q move here. Should be able to do a Q, which is a press pull, and we're going to press and pull all these faces. Should be able to select all three of these, and then I can pull them out and then click on this face I want to drag it to, and it'll automatically snap. There's my 3/16 that I put in for the plate. So now this plate actually swallows the other plates back here. So when I add a seam, this will actually cover that seam with this appearance plate right here. And I could save a little bit of money and cut this out of 16 gauge. It doesn't need to be very stout, but then it's going to look kind of cheesy and have a sharp edge right here if I cut this out of 16 gauge. So I'm going to keep this all as a 7 gauge product here. So I think we did a 0.1. Let's check. We'll do our inspect. See how much. Okay, yeah, 0.1 was the original extrude. So we're going to Q again, do the press pull. I'm not going to use extrude here because sometimes when you extrude and hit join, it's actually going to try and join that plate to the rest of everything else that it touches. But if you use this Q offset face, it's just editing the feature that's highlighted. So 0.1875 is our thickness. And we've got that there. So then I'm going to duplicate this across and see how it looks. Oops. Undo that. Move. Hit this. Hit create copy down here. And then I'll slide this over. Snap it to this face. Yeah. That's a pretty nice look right there. Super clean. Really stout. So now the question is, do we need to add a plate up here? Let's just draw it up and we'll see what it looks like. That's the best thing about CAD is, at least one of my favorite things, is you can really see what something's going to look like without spending really any money at all. You just have your design time. So I'll go from this corner over to here, where previously, before I learned these tools, I would go out in the shop and actually start making stuff. Or I did a lot of cardboard cutouts and stuff like that. Hit new body here so it doesn't join the rest of everything else. We're going to do a move, create copy, slide this over. Okay, this is pretty clean. Also some pretty sharp angles going on here. So I don't like to keep stuff quite this crispy, I'll call it, with this really hard 90-degree corner right here. I know I've got these hard corners all over in some other places, but I have a round over tool that I think is going to work well on this. So I'm going to take a look at this and start doing an F for fillet on here and see if I can fillet this. I don't know who's hanging out with me here, but really appreciate it. Let's see if I can see comments. I think I'm in chat. Anyways, let me know where you're watching from. We're just north of Nashville in a little town called Springfield in Tennessee. It's been good to us. So here's F for fillet. And I know for sure I'm going to want to round these corners over. And the same down here. So remember when I said not to fillet those corners in the beginning? It's because that offset tool is a lot easier to edit and adjust if you have sharp corners. So I don't like to do my fillet operation until basically one of the last steps when I'm already really happy with the design. Because I have filleted before, and then, you know, 2 of the corners will be rounded, the other 2 will be crispy and hard 90s, and then you're sliding around on the timeline and doing all kinds of stuff, sometimes deleting stuff and redoing it. I've just found it's easier to hold off on my fillets. So here we go. That's a little too aggressive for the design because everything's so crispy up here, but I think a 1/4 inch, really I guess we should use this radius right here as inspiration because we are going to bend these plates right here. I'm not sure what happened to this overhang. I can dress this up here, or I could just hit it with a flap disc later on the fab table and round it over. If it was one of my drafters, I'd tell them to fix it in here, but I'm going to be a hypocrite and I'm probably just going to leave it, just because I'm the one that's going to fabricate this, so I can sign up for my own little extra work. But if this was for a customer, we would spend the time in CAD. Yeah. What do you guys think? It's looking pretty decent. I actually don't know how I like this down here at the bottom now that the log storage, because this is like going to be my kindling. So I don't know if having the lip down there is just going to collect trash and end up being a pain to clean out. So let's take a look at this and see what it looks like if we take this all the way down. I don't know. Which side do you guys like better? We got this side right here with an open front, and this side back here with the closed front. We could also, well, if we cheat the eye, so I was thinking we could take a plate down here. I'll show you what I'm thinking. We kind of take a rectangle here, and drop that down 1.5 inches. I'll hit new body. And then we could drop these corners all the way down. Let's see what that looks like. This is the Q press pull tool. Yeah, now it's just starting to look sad. Okay. So, back to the original question here. We've got the open front at the bottom. This is the kindling section down here. And then this is log storage up top. I don't know. You know, honestly, the other thing we could do is we could design this or cut this all out and hit V to make these invisible. V, toggle visibility, V again. Because I do like this a little cleaner, to be honest with you guys. I really just wanted a sleek kind of a look like this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and make it this way, and then if it needs to be stiffened up, I can always go back and do that later. But I don't think logs sitting in storage need that robust of a design, to be honest. So let's just keep doing our fillet here. And now that we've gotten rid of those plates and those hard corners, we can actually get more aggressive with the fillet and soften this design up a little bit more. Yeah, so there's a 1/2 inch or the quarter. The quarter looks nice, honestly, guys. It's just broke enough to not be a sharp corner, but it still looks, I think, hard, if that makes any sense. Not too friendly or preschool-y. Okay. We'll call that good right there. But then I'm really not happy with these feet. So I'm going to go ahead, let's toggle visibility on those. And then let's think about a formed foot here. We've got some other form work with the press brake. So I'm going to start with another line drawing. And we will go, just go 1.25 inches. Oh no, we'll stay with the 1.5. We have the walls. So let's keep all this 1.5, 1.5. That'll make it look nice and cohesive. 1.5, and then another line 1.5 up. Gonna go back to sheet metal, select that profile, and then a new flange here. And we're gonna draw this all the way to the back. 16. Let's come 1 inch back. Well, let's go 1.5 inches back from each side. So this is one of the other cool things about Fusion is you can do your math right in here. So we're at -16. So we'll do +3 because that'll be 1.5 inches on either side. Oh, now it doesn't want to cooperate. Well, I'll just do the math in my head. So -13 inches. That's what I'm going for. Go ahead and move this back 1.5. And we'll see how that looks here. I don't know. I think it needs to go full length, honestly. Gotta turn off my heater, I'm burning up. Okay, so let's do our Q move again here. And we'll cue this side as well. Okay. And then we'll inboard this. And we'll just come in an inch. And then we've got the cool cutouts on the side right here. So let's do some cutouts as well on this flange. So we're going to project this bottom portion onto that sketch so we can grab everything easily. And I'm going to make some rectangles here. For reference, call that 3 inches in. Over here, we'll do another 3 inches in. And then from the top, we'll do the bottom up. This whole thing's 1.5 inches, so let's do 1 inch. 1 inch even. And then we can go ahead and extrude. We're going to cut through. And I think that makes the foot a little bit more interesting and helps it match the rest of the design. So let's also go in here and we'll fill at these corners. We're doing 1/4 inch everywhere. Come on, you can do it. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Yeah, look at that. That turned out really cool. Okay, so we've got our feet, and we're in good shape. So now I'm just going to add some tabs and slots here for the design. So go ahead and toggle visibility right there, and going to draw just 2 rectangles here. We'll go 1 inch, and then 0.1875 is our material thickness. Oh, move the decimal point. And then we'll mirror that, so find our delta, escape, mirror, double click. There's our mirror line. Nice. All right, so now we're going to extrude these 2, drag them to the back, and we're going to join this time. All right, so now we've got join, and now we can toggle our main body again, and we're going to use this cool tool called Combine Cut to cut these the slots that correspond with our tabs. So I believe it's over here in solid, combine, and then target body. This is one we want to cut. Tool body, this one we want to use as a tool, and we want to keep tools, otherwise it'll delete it. Alright, so now if we toggle visibility here, nope. Oh, I did a combine. So you have to highlight this cut, otherwise it combines them together. So now you can see we've got those tabs and slots living together. See them fit right in there? Beautiful. All right, and now we need to repeat the operation and put the same things on the other side. So here's this little trick. We're going to select that face, P project, and we're just going to click on these guys. And now we can extrude them. Drag these back. Make sure they join. Boom. And then same thing here, we go back and we can do our combine cut. So we're going to combine, cut, target body, tool body, keep tools. Okay. Now we've got a full set of slots, and this will keep us from doing too much fillet welding down here. We can actually put all the welds on these slots, and the whole thing's going to look a lot cleaner in the end. So now we just need to duplicate that on the other side. Draw ourselves our mirror line here. So we don't actually have to model everything. We don't have to model the other leg. And then we can take this here, 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 and here. Nope, not that. That. and cut that out. So now we know that this foot, when we cut 2 of them, will fit over here. So now we need to locate this plate in here as well. So we'll go ahead and do this. Get our line going. We'll start this in. Oh, actually 1.5 in from the edge. Then it'll line up with our current design. And this will be 0.1875. And we'll do that 1 inch long like the one on the feet. So I'm going to make myself 2 mirror lines here. We're going to mirror all this stuff. Is that 90? I hope it's 90. We'll find out in a sec. So mirror will come down this way, and then we'll mirror this again. Over this way. Then we can extrude all these tabs. There we go. And then, as you guessed it, another combine cut here. So combine, target body, tool body, key tools. And we'll make sure this thing, yep, actually has our slots. Nice. All right, last thing we need to do here, oh, there's 2 things. I need to actually make these tabs slightly shorter. So I'm going to do negative 0.08. We'll cut those out. That way I can put weld in here, and the weld will have somewhere to live inside of that pocket, and then I can flush grind it down at the very end, and it'll actually look like it wasn't welded at all. But if you leave these, then your weld builds up on the top of this material, and when you go back and try and grind that weld off, it grinds the whole weld off, and then there's nothing sticking it together anymore. So you always want to trim back this little tab here for later welding so that you can flush this all out. It looks a lot cleaner in the end. Also, it's another reason not to go ahead and model up 2 of these feet, because then you'd have to do this extrude move on both of them, and it's kind of a waste. So I'm always trying to get a little bit faster, a little bit more productive in here, and it really comes down to, you know, the order that you do things and little tricks like not designing more than you have to get something made. Sometimes if you have to model this up now at the very end, if I need to make drawings for the guys in the shop, oh yeah, making copies of sheet metal bodies is a bear. I forget exactly how to do it. I have to look up somebody else's YouTube video. That's what I always have to do when I get stuck on these. But yeah, you can duplicate that foot, drag it over here, and then when you bring this over into a drawing, to explain it to everybody else, then both the feet will be in there and they won't be confused. But if you're just designing it for yourself, you can make this a lot easier. Oh, it's dragging all the stuff in here that is currently not visible. Alright, so last thing I've got to do is split this body down the middle, because this is not going to currently cut. So the most efficient way to do that is actually as a flat pattern. So we'll go over here to sheet metal, I'll select this, we're going to create a flat pattern, and here's our flat piece. So go ahead and draw a line on here, and I'll do a rectangle. .0001, really tiny rectangle. Well, actually, I mean, so this is one way to do it. We could sit here, zoom in on this rectangle, Tolerance isn't that high. This is no big deal. 0.0001 isn't going to ruin anybody's day if I can actually get it to select it. It doesn't want to let me pick this. Okay, the other way to do this is we'll inspect, find this distance, 56.098. And then we can do a offset plane. Oh, the sketch tools are not the same over here. Okay, I'm going to finish the sketch. Okay, here we go. Here's an offset plane. So I'm going to do negative 56 divided by 2. And that'll give us a midpoint. And from there, we can split the body. So we're going to take this body, select this plane as our splitting tool, and now we've got the two pieces. And we'll get rid of that sketch and this construction plane. So now our brake can actually handle this piece. So from here, that's pretty much it, guys. We just made a log storage rack. This is ready to export out to the laser, and I'll get it through the press brake and on the welding table and through powder coat, and then hopefully back to my house for Thanksgiving this weekend. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope this was somewhat helpful to you. I know it's always nice seeing how other people use Fusion and SolidWorks and SketchUp, because it gives me new ideas of what I can do. If you're new to the channel, please hit like, please subscribe. Go to makertable.com, find something special for someone you love, and give it to them for Christmas this year. That's literally how we pay the bills. And yeah, other than that, hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for hanging out. Boop.